As much as some people hate to say it, the X-T4 is a very good camera for vloggers, potentially. So, you know, although while I'm recording this, we're under lockdown, so I can't go very far. I'm here in the back garden. It's a pretty dull grey day, and it's probably going to rain very, very soon. So we're testing out the XF18-55 first. We're shooting at 4K 30 frames per second, so the shutter speed is 60th. I'm having to shoot at f5 at ISO 160. I wanted to go a bit down. I do have an ND filter in here, but it seems to be, anyway, not working out, but this is fine for now. I'm not going to use the digital image stabilization until a little bit later on, because I'm not a big fan of that so far, but I just want to see how this is fully stretched out, and afterwards we're going to take a look at the XF18 f2 in this video, just for an alternative at 18 but without OIS doing a bit of the work. So in this case we've got the IBIS and the OIS, and afterwards it'll just be IBIS, but to all intents and purposes everything seems fairly fine. Let's go to this a little bit wet back here, and you can see that everything just seems to be working a treat. Now we know that the T3 was cracking for video, and this is pretty much the same thing but with the magic IBIS, which will make a massive difference for me, especially with lenses without stabilization. And also it's got that flippy out screen, which also just makes things extra practical if you need to do videos like this. I mean, if you don't, you're probably not watching this, so yeah. And as we know, the face tracking works a treat. I am shaking quite a lot now. I probably shouldn't have had that coffee, but can you see the autofocus moving? Let me look to the screen. I appreciate it's not the best example. And man, I need some sun. Right, let's put on the XF18-2 while we're here so we get a more accurate comparison. So now we're using the XF18-F2, which doesn't have OIS, so it's just the IBIS. I've tested a little bit indoors and it seemed absolutely fine. Basically the idea of this for a lot of us is it will breathe a lot of life into some of the lenses that we have that we love to use but we just can't for low light photography and, well, video stuff such as this, and more sensible stuff where you're not pointing it at your face the whole time. But I think it's fine. So as before, 60th, f5, 160 ISO, and everything seems to be decent. I mean, the XF18 isn't amazing at continuous focusing, but, and I know I shouldn't look at the screen, but I want to see the result. It's worth mentioning that I have IS boost on, which says it's good for static handheld subjects. I guess I'm not particularly static, but the other option is off, and that's for if you're panning, tilting, etc. And I don't know, I suppose technically I am, but for what I would do this sort of stuff with, I don't think it's a big deal until I start playing around a lot more with some sports and wildlife stuff. I can't even speak today. This lockdown has got me going absolutely stir crazy. Oh, bit of sun coming out. Might have to stop down again. Let's see what happens when we stop down. Wrong way. So you can obviously see the clicks as we're using the XF18-55, but otherwise it's fairly good. Let's see if I can move myself into some other kind of lighting so we can see how it adjusts. And we get to this, and I could probably do with opening up a bit. I really wanted to go to f2.8, but I think I'm going to have a little mess with that ND filter in a moment. But yeah, I don't know what else we need to say really. What do you think? It doesn't seem to be too wobbly, at least on the screen. We can go nice and wide. Obviously I can zoom in, but you don't want to zoom in too much because that's just ridiculous. But nice and wide. But obviously the 18f2 is a lot smaller and a lot lighter, and on the second-hand market should be generally a little bit cheaper. So that could be an option for you and could make this a lot easier to carry around, although the 18-55 is a fantastic lens. Right, XF18 f2, you're getting bored of this now, aren't you? I know I want to go somewhere else. I want the day to be nicer so I can go down to the lake at least on my 1 hour permitted exercise. So we're at f5.6 now. Let's see what I can get away with. I love about the XF18 to f2, you can see the stops properly. You know, it's an R lens. Have I got that right? Listen. They stopped. This is a fairly accurate approximation of vlogging. So what I'm going to do now, as I think this is actually quite steady from what I can tell, I'm going to find my car keys and we're going to go and see if it starts, and then do some vlogging in the car. Where's my keys? Found them. Let's go. This could be a little bit awkward, as I don't think I can do this like this. No, flat as a pancake. Not ideal. Also, where's my focus gone? A quick on and off, and face tracking is back. That is very, very bizarre. Now, as I was saying, my car has died in through lack of use. I have been starting it up, but I haven't been able to run it as we're on lockdown, and it's not worth the hassle getting stopped and, well, risking an accident, risking a breakdown, and then having to get more people out, and it just gets very complicated. So that's why we're doing this as we are. Now, normally if I'm in the car and I'm doing a piece to camera, I'll set it down on something, which I didn't bring. I'll set it down, and then the IBIS is pretty irrelevant. And as we know, as we've said, the video quality is great anyway when it's done properly. I apologise. But what we're really testing out is the IBIS and the practicality with these lenses. Let's switch over to the XF18-55 just for the crack. I mean, why not? No settings have been changed then as we flick to the XF18-55. Mic levels seem to have gone up somewhat. Give me a second. So I've checked the mic levels because they seem to be coming in a lot hotter now. Oh, that's weird. Maybe we're going to have to notch that down a little bit. Let's do that. There we go. We've dropped it from -18 to -24. Of course, your settings may vary. It's still a little bit hotter than I thought. And normally that's fine. I know I'm in a closed car, so there's no noticeable ambient noise. I guess I'm closer to the lav mic there a touch, but that's quite a jump. Anyway, that's why the audio monitor is very handy. Also, the light has dropped a touch, so I think I can get away with going to... Oh, this is annoying. You can have this optimized control business. I've been turning it off. No. I've been turning it off so I can do everything manually, and now it's playing silly beggars with me. So let me just do it via the screen. Let's see if we can get away with 2.8. It's a little bit bright, I suppose. Right, now we're at 3.2. Might be a little bit better, but to all intents and purposes, let's get that completely free and in the air and in a little bit closer. I think we've seen enough. I think I'm happy. So when it comes to using a T4 as a vlog camera, which of these two lenses, the XF18 or the XF18 f2, which we know is not the internet's favorite lens anyway, so I get a fair idea how this is going to go. From what you've seen, as rough and ready as it's been, which of those two would you use? It's got me thinking about if I could have a bit of fun with an ultra wide manual lens like the Laowa 9mm or something like that. You know, if you got the Samyang 12mm f2 to hand, that might be cool. I know that's been tried before. It's not really a vlog lens, but you could have a bit of fun with some mega wide stuff. But of course, ideally, we'll be doing this test a little bit better, maybe, with the XF10-54. Although it's a bigger, fatter, heavier lens, it does give you that crazy wide view, a lot more options, and would be a superb combo for travel. But maybe it would be, and I want a better word than this, trumped by the 16-80. But these are all kind of heavy options, and even the camera's a heavy option for a travel camera for me. But I think for everything that you get for it, the quality, just everything, I think I could happily take it everywhere. But I'd be very careful with that screen when it's out, because it's not, I mean, it should be fine. It should be fine. It's clearly a weak point, but we digress. We're not getting into a review now. Right, onwards. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll do less super close-up nonsense. Oh man, I'm just testing stuff. Okay, I'm just trying to see how this goes. I just want to play with this new camera, if that's all right with you. Let's give it another go. Clutch in, and that's dead. Right, I have to get the battery charger.